Are you ready for a Yuji awakening? Because it has currently been 213 chapters and the steady growth my boy Yuji has gotten in terms of power up. However, I see a lot of people with a lot of contradicting opinions. He has been wasted as a main character. Does Gege hate Yuji? Has he regressed as a main character? And I'm here to tell you my boy Yuji Honored One moment is coming and you best be ready for the new awakening. So first, let's answer the most important question. Yuji is weak. Well, he has been a sorcerer for about 6 months and he's pretty new to the verse in actual time. So let's compare him to some of his contemporaries. Unomaki, Kamo, Megami are 3 examples of people from major clans yet have been involved in Jujutsu since young, yet Yuji has surpassed all of them bar Megami depending on who you talk to. Regardless, his knowledge in the world is limited, yet has become a top tier grade 1 sorcerer in a short period of time. Moreover, it boils down to one of the most fundamental things in Jujutsu, which is the mindset. The mindset has been dated to be the most important thing told to us in JJK, and is the mindset to be strong in my personal opinion is why our main cast has been made to take so many losses and is for them to reaffirm their ideals. For example, Yuji went from a savior complex to give people a good death to then being a cock. One thing that's important is that these moments have happened over a short period of time. And in specific, the culling games in my estimation has been like 12 days. We now see Yuji reaffirm his resolve to die on 2 previous occasions, with Angel killing him with the 15 fingers and then accepting his role in a heartwarming speech after he helps Megami. But the demon Sukuna, who has ruined that, and now Yuji's main purpose has gone. So what's next for our main character? The only thing that lies in is a breakthrough, and a person who has lost his purpose will look for a new one. And it will be another reflection for Yuji to reaffirm his sense of self. The path he was currently going on would content with dying young just to feel as if he achieved his purpose. And one thing I like is Yuji is relatable. He's clinging on to a purpose to give his life meaning and to ease his mind that all the death surrounding him by inhabiting Sukuna is not his fault. But now Sukuna is gone, his purpose is no more. So the need for Yuji to die by execution is a non-existent plotline. So the only thing left for him is up. And by up, the path to become the honored one. And to become a strong individual with a new sense of self. So why will he now get this awakening? Well, currently he has a donut. And I'm not talking about an ordinary donut in terms of food, but he has his whole heart basically blown out. And with this, it now sets up nicely for him to gain something such as reverse curse technique and to begin the process of becoming a top tier sorcerer. The reason I say this, the current people who can heal him, aside from maybe Takapo who finds a joke funny, are too far away from him, and it will be a nice point for him to not only reaffirm his sense of self, but to begin to become a top tier sorcerer that Gojo has even the praises for. Moreover, his growth as a sorcerer has been actually very good, especially in comparison to his contemporaries for someone who has not been involved in Jujutsu for long. Moreover, he has great curse energy manipulation and control, being able to hit Black Flash. I understand initially Divergent Fist came from weakness in his flow of curse energy, but now that being something he can do on command, as well as his own level of curse energy knowledge, with the fact that now he's in a near-death situation which will allow him to get closer to the core of curse energy if we go through the similar path as somebody such as Gojo. It has shaped up for him to not only get reverse curse technique, but to awaken with something more in regard to a curse technique. And now why do I think this would be the perfect time for him to get a curse technique? Like I mentioned before, his purpose was really tied to dying, meaning there was no real need for him to get overly strong for the simple fact that his mindset would not allow him. But now he's in a situation where he's lost that initial push for what he has to do. So for that sake, he will now have to find another way to give his life meaning. And for him to continuously try to save Megami, as Megami told him back in Shibuya, he has to be strong enough which will allow him to change the outlook on his current situation. This means we could get similar moments as he did previously when he was in danger, where he would have flashbacks to kind of relook at moments in his life, or a flashback like he did in when she started resonating about his family. This would be a nice moment in similar manner of something such as Ichigo in All But the Rain, where he has a moment where not only do we get a backstory to explain his lineage, but to tie in nicely to his new resolve that will come from this pot. I don't believe Gege is going to kill him right currently, but it is imperative for him to get reverse curse technique, but his current situation, how else would he survive? And more so than that, it would give him a new way to affirm one of his strongest weaknesses, and that is him putting himself before others. Yuji is strong in the way in which he can not only suppress Sukuna, but constantly be able to fix his resolve even in the worst case scenario. But now that was only tied to his direct purpose of being someone who was the only person to get rid of Sukuna. And now that that has been taken away, he has to find a new way in which he can then surpass his old self. And this, like I said, is tied down to his weakness of having a low sense of self, as well as prioritizing other people around him. For him to save Megami, he has to awaken his curse technique and to become a sorcerer who's capable of becoming a little bit more selfish in regard to achieving what he wants. I don't think he's going to make a switch like somebody such as Megami when Megami does come back, in my opinion, because for the simple fact that that is not in his nature of a character. But he has to become a new way in which to be able to become stronger to protect those he wants to protect, if that is the course of nature he wants to go through. And I think this is the perfect time to set that up. A lot of people complain that while Yuji has had constant depression and bad moments, but they also fail to realize over the course of the period he has not only held back in every single fight post Mahito, but he has not been in a situation where he wants to really continue his life in the first place. Now being pushed into a place where he has to not only live, but to fulfill his promise of protecting Megami, he will then have to push himself to the next level. And I think this is actually set up perfectly for a nice awakening from Yuji, but more so to develop his character to a new level and to finally break the cog mindset. The cog mindset, yes, it makes sense for his job of somebody who was meant to obviously get rid of Sukuna and to stop the cycle of curses, and to continue the cycle of curses. But now, that main purpose has disappeared, and for him to find out the last bit of resolve, for someone who has been wanting to die is now being pushed into a situation where he has to live. We're going to get a complete flip side, and we're really going to see Yuji begin to develop even more. I think the continuation of his character arc can be masterfully written from Gege. And this is why I do believe not only this is delving in more into theories, I do believe potentially Sukuna was suppressing him from using a curse technique. Also, with Gege mentioning about Megami could potentially be a cage for Sukuna, it could potentially foreshadow Megami being someone who helps suppress Sukuna in a potential clash between Yuji and Sukuna. I'm not sure if they will fight initially or when that will occur, but based on the information, especially as what the punch looked like, it seemed as if he did get a hole through his stomach. So if he does awaken with reverse curse technique, or we go to even some of the old theories that Yuji is some heavenly restriction being or something, it could nicely portray to a point where Megami helps in the aid of Yuji in his comeback against Sukuna, and we get to a point where Sukuna is driven to a point to go get his real body back, because he now will have to take away one of the biggest concerns of having somebody such as Megami who could potentially suppress him. Now, this is part of the reason why I said I think Megami's coming back, because in my personal opinion, I believe it would be poor writing if personally Gege was to kill off Megami and Yuji right now, especially with both of them not being able to achieve nowhere near their potential or complete their story arcs. So I think this is a good foreshadowing for things to come, and I don't know necessarily immediate timeline, but it begins to put Yuji on a good path to become even stronger. However, this is just headcanon and things that I'm assuming, so I feel as if it's going to be the perfect time for him, one, to get closer to the core of curse energy and get a huge curse energy buff similar to that with Gojo, and to awaken reverse curse technique and to potentially get the curse techniques from Sukuna. Just getting all these three won't necessarily put him on the level to deal with the Sukuna and Kenjaku, but it begins him to put him on the right path, and him being the one of the few people in the series and obviously the main cast to begin the new generation of becoming stronger, with people such as Yuta Hikari already on that level and Maki. It will give us a whole new sense of hope for our main cast, who currently are getting their asses handed to them by Megakuna. So what do you think? Do you believe in Yuji's Honored One? Do you believe in his potential switch and what could come next from his character? I know a lot of people are polarizing opinions in regard to, has he wasted his character? Has he not got to the level that they wanted to do? But I do think there is a degree of patience that should be noted with the fact that how can someone grow when he does not have the mindset to do so? More so than just that, him as a main character does not diminish diminish the work that he has done, especially if you take it in context with the verse. And finally, being strong doesn't mean being well written. I understand we all want Yuji to have more moments, and as a big Yuji fan, I do as well. All with due time for him to fix his mindset, to get to a level where he's competent enough, and for things and hardships to occur for them to then get to the next level, to finally fulfill the purpose that not only Gojo has put praise onto them, but for themselves to make sure they can protect those who they want to protect. Well, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and yeah.